And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. We're going back to Atlantis tonight because it's Atlantis, and that's where we like to go. So we are gonna play for the first time in Solo Playthroughs land, Volcare's Return Blitz. Yes, one of the very few solo scenarios, official solo scenarios that I have not played yet. It might actually be the last one that isn't like a beat your own score kind of mechanic. There are a couple of those in the base game, but the Lost Legion has Volcare's Quest, it has Volcare's Return, and it has Volcare's Return Blitz. Now, Quest is not really designed to be a blitz, but Return is. So it takes all of the rules of the solo conquest blitz and it just applies it to Volcare's Return. Hey, Greg here. It's time for me to recognize one of my patrons who has supported this channel long enough at a level high enough to get this fancy dancy shout out in one of my videos. This one goes out to Joshua Lesser. Joshua, thank you so much for all that you've done to support solo playthroughs in the last 6 months. It is very much appreciated as I continue to invest the time and the energy and the resources to growing this channel and to make it bigger and better and provide a higher quality of playthrough for everyone that watches this channel. Now, if you like what I do and you want to be like Joshua in supporting this channel, you will find the link to my Patreon page in the description of this video below. On my Patreon page, you will see 3 tiers of support. Go there, see if one of those makes sense for you. In the meantime, everything that people do to support this channel, the likes, the comments, the watch time, the subscriptions, it really all means a ton to me. So thank you so much. Thank you to Joshua for your support, and let's get back to the action. So let's get into the setup. It's a blitz. We got 4 days. We got 4 nights. We are going to have 5 countryside tiles in the solo game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are going to have 1 city tile. We have the 4 city tiles here. Yoink, the blue one is very excited to be here. I'm excited to be here too, Blue City. Just relax a little bit for me if you would. Thank you very much. I'm going to get a D6 over here, roll a die. I rolled a 3. That is going to be our city. And judging by how excited the Blue City was just a second ago, I will not be surprised if they manage to get themselves out on the table for sure. We have the core non-city tiles, rolling a die. It's a 1. So we have the city tile on the bottom, the core non-city tile on top of that, and then the 5 countryside tiles here. It is a very small deck, and you best believe that Volcare will probably explore a couple of these tiles. So we are going to be racing for sure. Let's go to the rest of the setup. I'm going to shuffle the deck for the spells. Let's talk a little bit about the settings. So like Volcare's Return Blitz has 2 different setting levels. One is going to control the tempo of how many cards are in Volcare's deck, which that is the wound deck, so I spread that out for no reason. Ding, that's going to be Volcare's deck here today. And the tempo for the tight setting, so again, there's fair, tight, and thrilling. I'm playing on tight. We will have 13 wounds in this deck, plus a D deck of 16 cards, plus the 4 competitive spells. The total of that is going to be 33 cards in Volcare's deck. Now, again, that is spaced out over 4 rounds, so we have roughly just over 6 turns around before Volcare would go into frenzy mode. And honestly, if he's in frenzy mode, we're in trouble. Anyway, we are going to then take these spells because I'm pretty much done shuffling these. We're going to put 3 spells up on the board. 1, 2, and 3. So we have Mana Bolt, we have Space Bending, and we have Fireball. Really like Mana Bolt. It's very mana intensive, but we are playing with the dragon known for the mana skills that no one else can compare with, so that could work out pretty well. So I'm going to put Volcare's deck of 33 cards over here, and then we could talk about the other setting. Well, the other setting is going to be the size of Volcare's Legion. So we could be doing that on Daring, we could do that on Heroic, or we could do that on Legendary. We'll be doing that on Legendary, which means that Volcare's Legion will be a Volcare level 8. The city on Legendary is going to be a 5. On Daring, it's a 3. On Heroic, it is a 4. We will have to take down a level 5 city. That's not going to be a small feat to do, and we are definitely going to want to try to do that by the end of the 2nd day. Again, that is the 3rd round of the game out of the 4 that we're playing. All the normal blitz rules will apply. We will start at the +1 on the reputation track, so reputation +2 to start, and then we will have the 1 fame to start every time we hit a new level. We will get an additional fame for the level up, and beyond that, both the source and the offer will have +1. That does stack with the +1 for the fact that we're playing against Volcare. So we will have 5 dice in the source and 5 units in the offer, which will give us lots of fun little options. So the advanced action offer here, we will have Peaceful Moment, really like that one. Frost Bridge could definitely come in handy, and Pathfinding. So not a lot of attacky skills there, but again, Peaceful Moment can be huge in the right moment. Dare I say, the right peaceful moment. Yes. See what I did there? That's right. I'm going to take these wounds. We're going to put them off screen down over here. Just play the warm-up game with the Red City. I'll take that card off, and then we'll set up Volcare's army. So Volcare's little disc is right here. What do you call little? Dude, it's a disc, especially compared to the Ultimate Edition disc, which I think is like 2 times the size of this, which is quite ridiculous. So Volcare's army on a level 8 is going to be 1 city token. Those are ruins. That's not helpful. So 1 city token. Put that face down. We're going to have 1 keep token. We'll put that face down. We're going to have 2 Draconum and 2 Orcs. And yes, all of those will be face down as well. Unlike Volcare's Quest, Volcare's Legion can grow in size as you play, because when you pull a wound, you will roll Volcare's little mana die. And if you roll a color matching either of the 2 gems in the unit offer, the unit, if it is still there, will actually join Volcare's ranks. Now, why are there going to be 2 colors in the source? Well, on the tight setting, there are going to be 2 indecisive units to start the game. And if you actually play it on the thrilling setting, there would be 3. That was a rule I didn't fully appreciate until I did a thrilling playthrough, and it was pointed out to me in the comments. So I'm going to put Volcare's army up there, and I'll put a mana die there. That's the mana die we will roll when I take a wound out of Volcare's deck. I'm going to take all the tactics, put them off the screen down here, and we're going to shuffle up Volcare's deck and get that ready. Here we go. We have the little aid card for Volcare's return. We'll keep that out there. Remember, there are 2 phases of Volcare's return. One is the kind of movement that happens before the city is revealed, and the other one is what happens after the city is revealed. I'm going to roll these 5 dice. 5 dice! I know, it's crazy. Boom, we rolled 2 greens, 2 whites, and a gold. We will put all those right hither. I need to shuffle up the artifact deck. One of the things about this scenario that is a little tricky is that you are highly dependent on what happens on the 3 or 4 tiles that you can explore. You will want to get as much fame as quickly as possible, and whatever is there for the taking, you want to grab it, whether that be units, whether that be a spell, whether that be a chance to get a very powerful artifact, and just hope that the artifact deck and the various offers cooperate here, because this is definitely going to be a fairly substantial challenge to do in 4 rounds. And now we'll shuffle up the various unit offers. These are my regular units. I have them sleeved in blue, and the elite units are sleeved in green. We will see them when we get a quartile on the board at the beginning of a round. So we have Northern Monks, we have some Utum Swordsmen, we have some Peasants, we have some Herbalists, and down here are the Guardian Columns. I'm going to roll a die for the top 2 slots. Gold. So the first indecisive unit in the offer will be in the gold slot, and then I'll roll this die again. I rolled white. If I pull a wound out of here and roll a white, the Utum Swordsman will join the ranks of Volcare. Again, to keep it simple, whenever the indecisive units are triggered, you always just put a random keep enemy on top of the stack of Volcare's Legion, even if the unit itself could not be recruited at a keep. So I'm shuffling up the elite units. They're shuffled. Put that there. We have Goldyx's deck. Let me make sure there's 16 cards here. That's correct. And let me actually count this deck here. And 33 cards, just like there should be. I'm going to shuffle up Goldyx's skills. We have the cooperative skill in here and not the competitive one. I'm going to then roll a die to see who my dummy player is. To my left, I have Wolfhawk, Bravelar, Norawas, Tovak, Krang, and Arethia. Rolling a die. It's a 6. Arethia's in the house. But I always feel like I've been getting Arethia skills from the dummy player. Definitely not complaining, though. Some of that wound management can come in huge in this scenario. Remember, Arethia has a serious discoloration issue with her competitive versus her cooperative skill. So I'm putting the cooperative skill aside. If I pull the competitive skill, we will just put the cooperative skill in. All right, everything else is done. We just have to put the initial terrain out. So the starting terrain for Volcare's return is you're going to have Volcare's camp here. You're going to have the portal there. And then we're going to put a countryside tile here. It has a village, a bunch of swamp. We have a magical glade. We have a ruin, and then a marauding orc in the center. And then here is going to be the red mine. another marauding orc, and a monster den. So could be a good place to go get a couple of early crystals. I do like that village a lot. Of course, getting into the swamp is going to be not very fun, especially with a catapult right next to it. Oh, the joys. We're going to put a ruins token out here. It's going to be face up. We do need to put a marauding orc up there. A ironclad. We have to put a marauding orc down here. I'm going to put a draconum over on the Volcare's camp tile as well. The orc that I put down here is an orc tracker, otherwise known as a Cthulhu panda orc. And now we have a swamp dragon up there. Nasty, but we will not be facing him anyway. I'm going to draw to my starting hand, which is going to be 5. You have swiftness, mana draw, swiftness, promise, and will focus. That will focus and one of these swiftnesses could do wonders for me taking out that tracker, but they also could do wonders for me if I just go into that monster den. Thing is, I don't have the movement to get in there, but I think I'm going to go against my norm that I've been doing lately and actually go with great start so I could try to do that monster den right off the jump. And I'm going to roll. He rolls a 2. 2 gives Volcare rethink. Remember that at Volcare's return, the tactic that is taken out by Volcare does not come out of the game. It stays in the game, but the tactic that you take will come out of the game. So great start is out. I'm going to get 2 more cards and hope for some movement. There we go. We got some march and we have some stamina. I'm going to set the turn order tokens right there and let's get to it. I'm going to throw away all the crystals I had on my thing for the warp game because it would have been nice to start with 7 crystals, but nope, we have to start with 0. How sad. And now we go to Volcare's first turn. It is a green. It's a green spell. That means Volcare is moving twice. Yikes. 1 and 2. And he is in our face. There is a green die in the source, so we have to roll it. Well, there's actually 2 green dice and a gold in the source, but we're just going to roll the 1. And now we're going to get very far away from Volcare as fast as we can. My turn. I'm going to play stamina for move 2. I'm going to play march for move 4, and I'm going to play promise sideways for move 5. That gets me into the monster den. When you're in a monster den, we're going to pull a random monster enemy. It doesn't really matter what it is. I think I basically have ranged attack 9 in my hand. Hopefully we don't get too unlucky here. It is a werewolf. That's a beautiful thing. I can actually hold on to will focus if I wanted to. Do I want to? Nah, we'll just use it now. So I'm going to play will focus. I'm going to power it with the green from the source. That gives me the stronger effect of another action card plus 3. So I get range attack 3 plus the 3 from will focus. That's enough to defeat the werewolf. I'm going to get 5 fame for that. I jumped a level, so I go from 1 to 6, and then the +1 for jumping that level gets me 1 to 7. I will have a level up at the end of this turn. I'm going to put a shield here. I'm going to clean up my play area, so I re-roll the green. It's blue. I'll put my discard pile off the screen down here. I'm going to roll a mana die twice. I got a black, so that's +1 fame. So I leveled up again, which means I level up again, and I roll, it's a red. Would have rather 2 crystals, but I will take the double bump early, I guess. That could be really nice in helping me take less wounds. So the second level up is just going to be another command token. Do need to find a place where I can do some recruiting. The first level up is going to give me a new skill. My 2 skill options are freezing power once a turn, siege attack 1, or ice siege attack 1, or we also have an influence skill, glittering fortune. I will take the siege attack 1. That little extra siege attack could come in huge. Again, that is a once a turn skill, and we'll put one of Arethia's skills in the offer, polarization. And now from the advanced action offer, I'm going to take peaceful moment because that heal could come in handy. The ability to refresh units can come in handy, but also having the extra influence to recruit units when I really need to could definitely come in handy. Pathfinding and Frostbridge are both tempting. I'm just going to hope I get flight at some point. I won't have to worry about movement all that much anyway. We get Stout Resolve now in the advanced action offer. Really like that card as well. And now I draw to my hand limit, which is only 5. So it's going to be a little bit weird not playing with planning like I normally do in the first round, but I think that was the right choice to just be able to knock down that monster den on the very first turn. We're going to Volcare's turn. Is it another spell? No, it is not. It is a blue card. Volcare is moving there. So what I really hate about how this is playing out is that if Volcare actually pulls the red spell, he's going to attack me, and that's going to make me very, very sad. Down here, though, it's 3 easy fame. It's only a 1 out of 31 chance that the next card is a red spell, but I really don't want to risk that. So let me go down here and see if I can't just knock off this orc tracker. That is a blue, so before I go, I do need to re-roll that blue. It is now red. Remember, the tracker's abilities, he has assassin, which means that I can't assign any wounds from the tracker to any units. I have to take them into my hand, but he also has elusive. So if I don't block him, it's going to be 6 to defeat. If I can't block him, it's only 3, but if I try to defeat him in the range or siege attack phase, it's going to require the full 6. My problem with this hand is that I don't have all what I'm going to need to do to both block him and be able to defeat him, because I can get up to attack 4 pretty easily. Question is, can I get it to attack 6? And if I don't block him, then I'm taking 2 wounds, so that's not great either. So if I got this, and this, that's attack 6. But then I would also need to get in. So I could use my whole hand and end up with 2 wounds in my hand, but then I'm stuck with 2 wounds in my hand, which isn't exactly what I want. But remember, Peaceful Moment allowing me to spend influence for heal as an action is a really nice option to have for sure. Let me try it this way. I'm going to play Tranquility. I'm going to power it with the gold from the source. I'm going to draw 2 cards. I know I have 2 rages in here. Nope. I got exactly neither one of them. Fantastic. I'm going to just move 3 this turn, and then I can defeat this guy next turn, I think. And maybe I'll even risk Volcare not pulling his red spell here. So I'm going to play March for move 2. I'm going to play Threaten for move 3. That's going to allow me to move into here. I'm going to play Mana Draw so I can use a second die from the source. I'm going to use this white to power Crystal Joy, which gives me a white crystal just to get these cards out of my hand so I can draw up and get one of my rages. I also have my determination in there, so I should be able to block that dude fairly easily. I roll that die, it's black. I roll this gold die, it's blue. I draw to my hand limit, which is 5. So I get my first rage, my second rage, and improvisation. Perfect. Volcare's turn, it's a green. Volcare is going to move down again. Whoa, what a jerk. He's cramping my style. He's just like all over me. Volcare, I am not interested. Go somewhere else, dude. What a mess. So I'm going to play it this way, which is super strange. I'm going to move 2 to go there. That provokes an attack from the tracker. I'm going to block the tracker with both rages. And now all I need is attack 3. I'm going to play improvisation. Discard Peaceful Moment for the attack 3. That's enough to defeat the tracker. I get +1 to my reputation. I get 3 fame. I go from 9 to 12. And now tracker is out. What a weird way that played out. I'm going to draw to my hand limit, which is 5. I only have 2 left, but that's enough. I could do some exploring and get a tile out. Hopefully get some distance between me and this big jerk. Volcare's turn, it's a red. He's just going to look adjacent to him. If it was a red spell, he would look adjacent to him +1, so he would look 2 spaces around him in all directions. Fortunately, it was just a regular spell. He does re-roll one of the red dice in the source. That is now blue. Oh, and the other thing is when I ended my turn there in that red mine, I should have had another red crystal, which is the whole reason why I risked going there in the first place. So I have 2 red crystals and a white crystal, which isn't bad. Going to my turn, I'm going to spend the stamina. I'm going to power it with the blue from the source. Going to explore here. We have an orc. We have a mage tower. We have a village. The orc face up is going to be a summoner. The mage tower garrison is going to be face down, but I am going to get adjacent to it just so I can see what's going on there. I'll surely want to attack that next turn. So I have 2 more movement from the stamina. I'm going to move here since it's still day. That reveals, and we have ourselves some fire mages. I'm going to re-roll this blue. Volcare is going to have 1 more turn. It is the red spell. Shoot. Well, there is not going to be a combat, obviously. I have 1 card in my hand, and frankly, determination isn't going to be good enough to help me here. So it's the first day. I'm going to take 2 wounds to my hand, which is kind of sucky. In some ways, it's actually really nice to get this red spell out of Volcare's deck, because again, if we had already discovered the city, Volcare would have moved twice toward the city instead of just trying to do what he did now, is trying to find someone to attack. Volcare will finish his turn off by re-rolling this red. It's now a black. I'm going to declare end of round. When you declare end of round, then Volcare's quest or Volcare's return, Volcare does not get another turn. So a couple of good options for the next turn. Again, doing this mage tower during the night's going to be nice. Hopefully I can get some range attack and defeat that orc summoner, because I definitely do not want to pull a random monster enemy. Having a village here could be really good for recruiting. The only big concern right now is which way is Volcare going to go, because again, he's very much breathing down my neck, which is going to change how I want to set this whole board up. Generally speaking, I do like putting the city here, but that always assumes that Volcare goes up north, and he definitely did not do that this game. The other weird thing too is Volkare did not pull up any of the 13 wounds in his deck, so his deck is very rich in wounds, so we did not lose either of our indecisive units. We're going to take all 5 of these standard units, put them underneath the bottom of the deck, and put 5 more out. So we have magic familiars, we have some peasants, we have some savage monks, we have Utem crossbowmen, and we have some Utem guardsmen. The guardsmen, getting them there could be really nice. Same with the crossbowmen. Nothing that we can get in a mage tower except for the magic familiars, which isn't necessarily the worst idea. I'm going to take these dice off the source. We're going to move the turn order tokens, flip this over, and now I'm going to roll these 5 dice. We get 2 blues, a white, and 2 golds. Not a very good roll for a night round. Frostbridge is going to cycle to the bottom of the advanced action deck. We're going to replace that with ambush, so another movement card, and mana bolt goes away, which is a little bit sad. Definitely have my eyes on that. Fireball will have to do though. Do not hate that. And we get some burning shield. I'm going to draw it on my hand limit, which is still 5. We get swiftness, we get a wound, we get stamina, crystal joy, determination. I'm probably going to want to save sparing power for the next round, so I will take preparation, see what can be maximum helpful right now. Yeah, preparation makes the most sense. I'm rolling for Volcare. Volcare rolled a 1, so Volcare will be first. Let me take a card out of my deck, move these turn order tokens down here. I was tempted to do mana search. I think preparation made the most sense. Let me get tranquility. I think it could really help just to get this 1 wound healed up, and I'll figure out when I want to heal the other one. Volcare's going to go first. Please do not get a blue. Yoink. And remember, if he had drawn the blue spell, he actually would have attacked me again. Instead, he gets his first wound, so we're re-rolling this die. It's gold. The magic familiars are no longer an option for recruitment because they got scared by Volcare's magical powers. Obviously, so the magic familiars are going to go under here, and now we add a keep token to Volcare's army. So he went from 6 units in that little legion of his to 7 to that slightly less little legion of his. My turn, I'll put preparation over there. Remember, if I move into this mage tower and the orc summoner is there, he's going to have to be joined into that fight. I do not want that to happen, so I'm going to attack the orc summoner. I'm going to power swiftness with the way from the source. I'm going to use my little skill here that gives me range plus siege attack 4, and I defeat the orc summoner. That gives me 4 fame. I go from 12 to 16 plus 1 because I went up a level. That's very nice. Ooh, stat resolve could also be pretty handy. Ambush could be pretty handy. We have options, kids. Lots of options. I get +1 to my reputation, so I'm now at +2. The skill goes back. I roll the die. It's now a green. I will play Tranquility to get this wound out of my hand after the battle, so Tranquility is done. And then before I draw my hand, I get the rewards for my level up. I'm looking at my next 2 skills. So we have White Crystal Craft. Once a round, I get a blue crystal plus a white mana. Or there's the cooperative skill, which I do not love. It's a source offering. It's just not good. I don't want to take polarization, so we will take the White Crystal Craft. We're going to add one of Arethia's skills. It is her little siege attack 1. That could be a very nice stack with my siege attack 1. So we'll see if I want to take that next time I get a skill. Although I'm still looking for motivation, still looking for my flight skill. I'm going to grab ambush. Although I'm very tempted to get Stout Resolve. I find Stout Resolve a little less powerful when there's only 4 rounds. You just won't have those big, huge hands that you might get in a 6-round game. I'm going to draw to my hand limit, which is going to be 5. There's Ambush, and we have a Peaceful Moment. Volcare's second turn of the round. It is a red. He's going to look around. Nothing to fight. No reds in the source for him to re-roll. My turn. I'm going to place stamina for move 2, gets me into the village. I'm going to use my little skill here. I'm going to get a blue crystal and a white mana. I'm going to use the white mana to power Peaceful Moment. That gives me influence 6. I also have influence 7, 8. It's a peaceful moment. I could use it for the action where I could do everything on the turn, or I could just use it for its influence and actually do a normal interaction turn. So I'm doing a normal interaction turn right now. I have influence 6, influence 7, 8, and I'm going to use Crystal Joy sideways to get influence 9. I'm going to take 2 units. I'm actually not going to play Crystal Joy. I'm going to take the peasants with 4 of my 8 influence, and I'm going to use the peasants to get influence 2 more, and I'm going to grab the Utham Guardsman. And then I'm going to play Crystal Joy. Since I did not use a die from the source, I'm going to use this blue. And I'm going to use the stronger effect of Crystal Joy. Again, a crystal of any basic color to my inventory. I'm going to take myself a green. So there's going to be no more indecisive units for sure, because I took the peasants. I was thinking about actually just using all my cards sideways for influence 11 to get the guardsman and the crossbowman. I do think the crossbowmen are just slightly stronger. There's obviously a reason why they cost 1 more. The guardsman's ability to have the block 4 counting twice against units of swiftness could come in handy. I think the crossbowmen is going to give me a little bit more flexibility with that range attack. I'm going to roll this die. The blue is now blue. I'm not going to discard a card from my hand to get Crystal Joy back. And I'm going to draw to my hand limit, which is 5. So we have mana draw, we have march, we have threaten, and then I'm going to pillage the village and get 2 more cards. Swiftness and stamina. Wolf. Do not believe in attack cards apparently, but I can make this work. We're going to go to Volcare's 3rd turn for the round. It's a white. Volcare is going to move back up. He stomps on that village in the swamp. My turn. I do want to get both F5 fame, and I want to get myself a spell. I'm going to play the ambush. I'm going to power it with the green from the source. That's move 4, plus add 4 to the first block card of any type. That move 4 is enough to get me into the Mage Tower at night. I immediately lose 1 reputation because I'm seizing a fortified site. I'm going to play Determination. I'm going to play Mana Draw to use a 2nd die from the source. So I'm going to power this with a blue from the source. So that's a total of block 9. I need 3 more block to not have to take any wounds from the fire mages. I'm going to use the Utham Crossbowmen. So that is block 12. They are fully blocked now. And then I'm going to use a white crystal to get attack 3, threaten sideways to get attack 4. And then I have this attack 1 from Goldyx Seal. That's attack 5. That is enough to defeat the fire mages. The fire mages have fire resistance, but not physical resistance. So we are good to go. I'm going to get 5 fame and go from 17 to 22. Nice. I'm going to clean up my play area, reroll both these dice. It is now a red and a green. The skill comes back here. I'm going to get my reward. Give me some fireball. Charm comes off next. And now I'm going to draw to my hand limit, which is still just 5. 1, 2, and 3. Volcare's turn. It's a red. He's pulling all the reds, which again, it means all that stuff he's not going to use for movement later. He looks around, nothing directly adjacent. We re-roll that die. It is now green. I would like to get 2 more fame to really get up to that 6 cards in hand. Pretty significant jump. There are only 2 more countryside tiles on the display. Volkare has used up a lot of his downward movement. So it's hard to know where he's going to go next, but we can assume that he's more likely to go up than he is to go down. We have gotten very little distance between us and him for the sake of actually putting the city tile on the board. This is somewhat attractive to me, potentially doing next round. That's a really nice way to get 2 artifacts, but it would require me crossing over where he is, and I actually don't hate that idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Will Focus. I'm going to power it with the green from the source, and I'm going to use stamina. So I get the stronger effect of stamina plus 3, so I have 7 movement. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to explore. We have an orc, another mage tower, a ruins. It could be an interesting tile to spend some time with. This ruins is face down because it is night. I knocked over my dragon. I hate when that happens. Orc is going to be in my face. What is this orc? We have an orc war beast, cannot be fortified, but it is fire resistant and ice resistant. And now we have this mage tower, which is going to go here, face down. Fight the orc now. It's 2 wounds. The fact that he's fire resistant is no good. Could defeat him this turn. It's going to require all the cards in my hand, though. Don't love that. 2 more movement. Worried about taking a bunch of wounds or just getting really sidetracked when there's just not that much time left. You have 1 countryside tile and 2 core tiles. I definitely wish I went here with my initial 3 because then I could have explored. I got a little greedy in trying to leave myself some more options. Yeah, having that lake right there is really what jammed me up the most. It's a little unlucky with the towel more than anything. Let me make use of this turn. I'm just going to have to kill this Orc War Beast. He's attacking me with a 3. I'm not blocking it. Since I don't block it, it's 6 points of damage because he is brutal. I'm going to actually just wound the peasants and take 1 wound to my hand. Peasants will be easy enough to heal. And then I'm going to spend fireball power with this red. Now he is fire resistant, so that's really 2.5 points of attack. It becomes basically 2. I have this skill, so that's 3 points of attack, 4 and 5. That's enough to defeat the Orc War Beast. I'm going to get 3 fame from that. That goes to 22 to 25 plus 1 because I did a level up. We get another one of these tokens, which is great. I'm going to clean up my play area. Reroll the green. It's now blue. Draw to my hand limit, which is now 6. So another wound. You add another wound in there. Rage, improvisation, and then the last card is going to be March. See what Volcare does. He pulls. It's a blue, so he goes straight ahead. And now I think I'm going to cut back around him the other side. I'm going to take out that catapult, which is a nice little 4 fame. I could just kind of force myself into the Mage Tower, which is a little bit dangerous. I'd have 8 attack, 9 attack, wouldn't have much in the way of block. I think it makes a little more sense to defeat the catapults. Oh, we have to reroll the blue and the source. Black, that doesn't help at all. Yeah, let's take out the catapults. So I'm going to spend 2 movement to go here. I am now going to initiate combat with the catapult. I'm going to play improvisation. I'm going to power it with the red. So I'm using the cumbersome ability of the catapult. It's only going to be 2 points of damage. I'll take another wound to my hand. Is that worth the red? Probably not. I don't think it's worth the red. Yeah, I'll just keep the red and I'll take another wound. So I took 2 wounds. Improvisation reduced the catapult's attack from 7 down to 4. 4, unfortunately, still gives me 2 wounds. So my armor is only a 3. Or I could just wound the Utham Crossbowman. That probably makes more sense. I have 2 heal cards in my hand effectively because of Peaceful Moment. So I'm just going to put the 1 wound on top of the Utham Crossbowman. Again, it's 2 points of heal either way. Now in the melee phase, I'm going to play Rage. That's going to give me attack 2. Again, the catapult is physically resistant, but I also have this. So that Ice Siege attack is good for 1 efficient point of damage. The Rage is inefficient, but combined, that's enough to defeat the catapult. I get +1 to my reputation, 4 fame, 26 up to 30. And all I have left in my hand is this 1 wound. We go to Volcare's turn. It's a blue, so he keeps moving this way, and we're going to roll this blue. Volkare has an insane amount of wounds in his deck still, which is nuts. He's still got 12 wounds in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of 22 cards. Nuts. So I'm going to declare end of round. That does end the round. Volkare does not have another turn, and we're going to go to the second night. So 1 countryside tile. We still have the 2 core tiles. It's a big question as to whether or not I could siege a city this round. Don't love the Mage Tower so much. I think if I can get these 2 artifacts and then turn around and start sieging the city, that could put me in a very good spot. So Goldyx's deck is shuffled. I'm going to put these 2 units here. We're going to get 5 more regular units. We still do not have a core tile on the board. It's the other magic familiars. We have some illusionists. We have some shock troops. We have some guardian columns, and we have some herbalists. Putting the red and the white back in place, moving the round order tokens, rolling these 5 dice in a source. 2 reds, 2 golds, and a black. That is not 50% basic, so we keep the basic colors, re-roll the others. That is gold, gold, black. Fascinating. A white, green, and a red. That's going to work. Now we're going to cycle out pathfinding. These move down. Temporal portal. I really like that card probably more than I should. Blood ritual can also be another fantastic card. Space bending goes away. I think if I did that Mage Tower, I'm interested in Burning Shield, but I don't love it all that much. Now that it is day, this is going to flip over. It is an orc and a monster for an artifact. It might be smarter than the monster and the Draconum, but let's see what I pull in my starting hand. So we're going to draw to my hand limit, which is 6. We have a stamina, a rage, termination, peaceful moment, mana draw. Last card is swiftness, which is fine, not great. These 2 units are ready. I think I use peaceful moment for my action this turn. I'm going to take planning. We're going to roll for Volcare. It's a 4. I just took 4. It's a 3. Mana Steel still here. So Volcare is going to go first. Put the tokens there. Volcare's first turn is a green. He's going to move down. We do roll the green in the source. It is now gold. My turn. I'm going to power stamina to move 4. And then for the action for my turn, I'm going to play Peaceful Moment. I'm going to use my skill to get a blue crystal and a white mana, and I'm going to power Peaceful Moment for influence 6. I can play this for the action for my turn. If I do, I can get heal 1 for each 2 influence you spend, and or refresh your unit by paying 2 influence per level of the unit. So this is not interaction. This is my action. It is on this card. So this could even be at X, and I could still do this ability. It's really strong. I'm going to use that 6 points of influence. I'm going to get 3 points of healing, which allows me to heal both of my units, which is a strong argument for putting that wound there because I knew I had Peaceful Moment. If I did not have Peaceful Moment, I think taking the 2 wounds in my hand is probably the better option. You just don't want to lose your Utum crossbowman like that. I'm going to clean up my player. Remember, that was my action, so I couldn't enter that ruins even if I wanted to. We have another red because we needed another red. Apparently, when I draw to my hand limit, which is 6, I get improvisation and march, and planning's in a trigger. I get threaten. That's not the most helpful. Yeah, I really don't love the idea of taking on a dragon. I do think I go here and just go a safer play and hope for just a really good artifact. And then I could be in a good place to put some of these core tiles on the board and a little bit of distance between me and Volcare. Volcare is going to go. It is white. He's going to move twice. 1, he's going to move off the board that's established, so he puts the last countryside tile on the board himself. 2, we will put a keep token there, then he's going to stomp on it. So he got another one of his spells out, which is super interesting, and somehow still managed to pull barely any of his wounds, which could be bad. In some ways, I don't want to be too far away from him because I don't want to just run out of time where I'm just cycling through my deck too fast, just waiting for him to get there so I can actually fight him. My turn. I'm not going to take on a dragon. I think that's too dangerous. I'm going to spend the march for move 2, and I'm going to go to this ruins. I'm going to enter this ruins as the action for my turn, and we're taking on what's shown on this token here. It is a monster. We have Shadow and a dragon. It would have been very rough, so I feel a lot better with my choice here. And now we have what? We have Orc Riders. And definitely way easier than a dragon. We did have to re-roll the white. Keep forgetting that, but keep remembering, fortunately. So that's not great. That white could have been a little bit useful. Why? Why do you take my white? What I'm going to do is spend this 2 points of block to block Shadow. I need 6 more physical block because that is a 4 cold fire attack. I'm going to play Determination, power this. That is 7 points of block combined, and then I'll just use Threaten Sideways, and that is fully blocked for Shadow. Shadow is also elusive. He has Arcane Immunity, so he's immune to non-attack, non-block effects. I'm not using any of those, and we've effectively blocked him, so it's only going to be 4 to defeat him in the melee phase. The Wolf Rider will attack. It's 3 points of damage. I'm going to assign it to the peasants, and now in the melee phase, I just need to get to 8 points of attack. I'm going to use Rage, power it with the red from the source. I'm going to use Improvisation, discard mana draw, so that's attack 7, and then I'm going to use this skill to give me attack 8. They are grouped. That's fine. There are no resistances that are shared as a result of that grouping, so that's enough to defeat both of them. That's going to be 7 fame. That's 30 to 37 plus 1 because I leveled up. I only have 1 card in my hand. This would reveal because I'm established now in a new place. So it's Ice Mages. Let me not use Improvisation and mana draw. I will just use Utum Crossbowman to get the last 3 points of damage. That way planning will trigger, and it's going to give me some more options. Improvisation, that movement could be really, really helpful with how things are currently laid out. I'm going to clean up my play area. Reroll this red. It is still red, so reds are everywhere. I'm saying red. Oh no. All right, this is going to go in my discard pile. I'm going to get my reward, which is an artifact. Sword of Justice or the Horn of Wrath. Yes. Sword of Justice is great. Horn of Wrath, I haven't played you in far too long. You are probably too strong for what you should be. And now I'm going to do my level up, looking at my next 2 skills. Again, still have not seen Flight or Motivation. There's Flight. I will definitely take that. Don't have a lot of spells, but Blood Ritual could be really nice. Stout Resolve is so flexible, but I think Blood Ritual is just a wee bit better. Temporal Portal is also really nice. Guaranteed extra hand draw. Let me take Temporal Portal, and that gets replaced with Explosive Bolt. Draw my hand limit, which is 6. Temporal Portal, Horn of Wrath, and Ambush. And planning also triggered, so we get another card. It's Tranquility, kids. We'll tranquilize my peasants. Not really tranquilizing them, but it sounds good. We're going to go to Volcare's turn. It is a wound. Rolling this, white or a red. Nope. If it was white or a red, we would have added another unit to Volcare's army. I very much want to find this city, and I very much want to pound it into oblivion right now, so then I can have all next turn to deal with Volcare. Volcare is going to be moving very slow because Volcare has a ton of wounds in his deck and not much else. So I'm going to spend 2 points of movement for swiftness, and I'm going to put a core tile. Our core tiles have to go next to 2 tiles. If I put a core tile out, I need to be ready to put both of them out. And then Volcare is going to be going right for the city. I need to be ready because I can't have him explore the last city tile himself. And I can't put a city tile there because I want to be adjacent to 2 tiles. So basically I'm putting a core tile here and then a city tile here and just hoping for the best. It's also not the greatest of approaches. I'm going to lay swiftness for move 2. I'm putting the core tile here. We have a keep in my face, a Draconum. The keep is going to be face up because it is day. We have a ruins that are also going to be face up because it is day. So tons of ruins on the board this game. The keeps face up. We have the Uthran Crossbowman. Draconum is going to be the Storm Dragon. The Ruins is going to be a keep plus a monster enemy for an artifact. I'm going to use my flight ability to move to an adjacent square for 0 movement points. Again, you can move 2 squares for 2 movement points, no matter what the terrain is, or you can move 1 square for 0 movement points. The thing is, with flight, you have to end on a safe space, so you cannot use that to siege a fortified site. I'm now going to play ambush for move 2. Let's put the city out. It is not the blue city, as excited as that city did seem. It is the red city. We're going to put the red city here. We have another ruins because, you know, ruins, and we have 2 dragons in my face. So this is going to be the one right adjacent to me. This dragon is going to be a fire dragon. The other dragon on the tile is going to be a swamp dragon. So, you know, hi, they waving at each other. It's like, oh, hi, I haven't seen you since the family reunion. That's how dragons talk. I'm going to then play Temporal Portal. Temporal Portal allows me to move without provoking rampaging enemies. It played as the action of my turn. I have to end in the safe space. And if I power it, I get my hand increased by 2, not just 1. The basic effect allows you to go adjacent space. If you power it, you get to move up to 2 spaces. It's pretty strong. So I'm going to have to power this with the blue because this offer has been garbage for me. And that's going to give me the ability to go all the way over here. I'm adjacent to the red city. So let me get the red city back and see what a level 5 garrison is. Level 5 garrison is going to be a mage tower garrison, a monster, and a city garrison. So only 3 enemies. I'm adjacent, so we'll see what it is. It is a crypt worm, not bad. It is an ice mage, and the city garrison is going to be something with elemental attack. Oof, not that. It's the freezers. That could be pretty nasty. Remember, the crypt worm's attack is going to be brutal, because all physical attacks in the red city to gain the brutal ability. So this was the action for my turn, so I can't move any further. This was it. Now that the city is revealed, we are going to click into the next phase of Volcare's movement. I'm going to draw 3 cards here. We have Promise, a Wound, and we have Fireball. That's an interesting combination. We're going to go to Volcare's turn. It's another Wound. Again, he's going to be super slow. He rolls a red, does not affect anything in the unit offer. My turn is going to be 3 movement to get into those hills. Why is the source so bad? So I'm going to use improvisation. I'm going to discard Promise. It gets me into here. That way I can enter the city without provoking this attack. This over here, by the way, is a keep and a mage tower garrison for a unit. That could definitely come in handy. So I'm going to use one of these reds just to roll a die in the source. I mean, technically, because this is like a hole, I can get a countryside tile from the box because there's an opening there. So I'll just take the top one off. I'm not going there anyway. So I spent 2 points of movement to put that in there just because I can, and it felt good. So we have an orc right in my face. That's intriguing. I definitely don't want to waste any attack on a random orc just for fame. So I filled in a hole with 2 points of movement. I'm moving here at my last 3 points of movement. And now at the end of my turn, I'm going to roll this. It is blue, not the green or the white I was hoping, but I'll take a blue. And since I ended my turn in a red mine, I will get myself a red crystal. Draw to my hand limit, which is 6 + 1 because of planning, and Crystal Joy in the house. We are going to go to Volcare's turn. It's a white, so he's going to move. He just moves directly toward the city. He's got a straight line there. My turn, I'm going to power Crystal Joy with a blue. I can take any color crystal I want. I'm going to get myself a white crystal. I'm going to actually play Tranquility. That's a healing effect. Special effects and healing effects you can play at any time. I'm going to heal the peasants. At the end of my turn, I'm going to discard any card from my hand. It could be a wound because I did the stronger effect of Crystal Joy. So I'm discarding that wound to put Crystal Joy back in my hand. And I'm going to drop the stamina card because I know I have at least one more movement card in my deck. Yeah, I'm going to drop the stamina card. Crystal Joy comes back in my hand. If I'm getting rid of the wound, I have to take Crystal Joy back. I roll that. It's green. And then I draw to my hand limit, which is 6. And then planning gives me 1 more. So that is Rage, Swiftness, and we have Will Focus, which I totally forgot I had. Now, last card has got to be my 4th movement card, but I'm going to try to make this hand work. Volcare goes. It's a wound. We're going to roll this. It's not a white or a gold, so he's not going to move. My turn. I'm going to use Swiftness to enter for move 2, and here we go. Definitely do not want to break the Horn of Wrath. I lose a reputation because I'm sieging a fortified site. And remember, the crit storm is double fortified because they have unit fortifications plus they have the site fortifications. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I can wipe this dude out. The problem is, how the heck am I blocking the Amhotep freezers? Although I could just say bye-bye to the peasants. Thank you for playing. Remember, the freezers have paralyzed and they have swiftness, and it's an ice attack. So you need 12 physical blocks to block it, or I'm going to need 6 fire block, or I'm going to need something that counts twice for swiftness and whatever combination I can get, but it's only 3 points of damage, and you can assign it to the peasants because it does not have assassin. Probably my best bet. Horn of Wrath's too strong just to throw away right now. I'm going to play the Horn of Wrath at siege attack 5. I'm going to roll a die. Is it black or red? It was green. I know it rolled off the screen. You're just going to have to trust me, people. So that's siege attack 5. We have this skill, siege attack 6. Remember, that's physical siege attack or ice siege attack, obviously using a physical siege attack. And I defeated the ice mages. If I assign the wounds to the peasants, peasants go away, and then I just have the crypt worm getting to block 6 is not going to happen. So I'm going to take 2 wounds from the crypt worm into my hand, and now I need a combined total of 13 attack. I'm going to play Will Focus, power with the green from the source. That gives me the stronger effective rage plus 3, so that's 7 attack. I have this fireball. I'm going to power with the green crystal I have, so that's 12 attack. And then I'll play mana draw sideways, which is going to give me the 13 attack that I needed. Oh, shoot. If I group them, that's the problem because the fire resistance would go onto the crypt worm. So I have to do a piecemeal. So the Will Focus plus the Rage defeats the Amhotep freezers. Remember, the peasants were disbanded. Thank you for your service. And then the Fireball Fire Attack 5 plus the Mana Draw Sideways is enough to defeat the Crypt Worm. So all 3 enemies are defeated. I will put 3 shields on the Red City. Also don't forget the Crypt Worm has Brutal. So that's actually 2 more wounds. So 4 wounds all day. The Brutal does not apply to the Amhotep freezers because it's not a physical attack. Otherwise, that'd be super problematic. That is a lot of paralyzed points of damage. So seeing the Amhotep freezers in the blue city is like the worst. Glad they did not jump into the game like I thought they would. I'm going to re-roll this green. It is red. Reds everywhere. Red, take 2. And we're going to put all these in my discard pile. I'm going to count up the fame I get. It's 7 plus 5 plus 5, so 17 fame. We go from 38 to 55. Since I jumped up a level, that gets me to 56. Another command token. Definitely have a bunch of recruiting potential. Remember, I can go down here too, maybe free those guys. I don't know if that's going to work though. Again, my biggest concern is how slow Volcare is going to be. And it's not like I can go out to meet him because I have this stupid dragon right there. Although I could potentially just wipe him out if the opportunity arises. But that's going to be against 7 points of non-physical attack that I'm probably going to want to hold on to, specifically 7 points of ice attack, and I'm not very strong in ice attack. So these guys are all out. I draw to my hand, which is 6. It's actually going to be 8 because I'm the leader of the Red City, and then planning would also trigger, so I could technically get up to 9. We'll see how I want to make this work. Volcare's turn. It's a blue, so he actually will move. No blue dice in the source for him to roll. I'm going to play Crystal Joy, power with a red, get a red crystal. And then I'm going to discard March to bring Crystal Joy back into my hand. This die was from the Horn of Wrath. I was like, why is that there? I'm going to roll this now. It's black. Planning, I can just put away. My D deck is very empty. Volcare's turn. It's red. He will move. And we're going to re-roll the red. Black. My turn. I'm going to play Crystal Joy. It's really unfortunate that I kept rolling reds in the source. It would have been nice to get some more colors here, but I'm playing Crystal Joy just to get some more reds. Again, I'm banking on the fact that we're going to see a bunch of wounds. I'm going to have to declare end of round next turn because I have nothing but wounds in my hand. We have a green. So Volcare is actually adjacent. There are no green in the source for him to choose. I declare end of round. He doesn't get a turn. So I have a total of 5 wounds in my deck. Deck feels fairly large. I only have 1 unit. Hopefully I pick up a bunch of influence. I might actually go with early bird. I don't know if sparing power is going to make sense considering Volcare is right on top of me. If I can yank a unit early, could be good, especially if it's like a potentially indecisive one. But he still has so many wounds in his deck. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm surprised that he's already up on the doorstep. He still also has 1 spell in the blue spell, so that could make things super interesting if that comes up first. My D deck is shuffled. I'm going to reset the unit offer. Remember, the unit offer is going to have a elite unit. Those are the Ultim Guardians, and I can recruit them in the city. Plus, I still have the +1 of the reputation track, which is nice. Plus, I have 3 reputation bonus there because of the number of shields on the thing. So I go from the Ultim Guardians to the Utim Guardians. The next elite unit is going to be the Ice Mages. Cannot get them in the city. The Thugs, and then we have the Fauna Masters. They can only be recruited, and they are pretty damn awesome. So we'll see. I draw to my hand limit, which is going to be 8. March, Ambush, Stamina, Mana Draw, Improvisation. So all of my influence skills, and by all I mean absolutely none, Tranquility and Stamina. What a horrendous draw that was. Yikes. Really bad. We're going to re-roll the dice in the source. White, white, blue, green, and black. Stout Resolve goes away. I was tempted. Never took the plunge for you. Sorry, dude. We get Magic Talent. The other thing I could do in the red city is I can spend 6 influence to get an artifact. It's usually not worth it. By the way, I should have another one of Arethia's skills in here. That's where you get a red crystal, and either a red mana or a black mana could be very, very nice. We go to the night tactics. I think I just make sure I go first. I don't think sparing power is worth it. Midnight meditation is not worth it. I just can't risk them attacking me before I even have a turn. So from the dusk it is. Dragon's like, get out the way, Volky. I'm first now. So here we go. I'm going to play improvisation. I'm going to power with a red from my inventory, and I'm going to discard March. That's influence 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to discard stamina. I'm going to discard the other stamina. 10 and 11. I am the proud owner of some Ultim Guardians. Although I'm very tempted to take the Fauna Masters. Problem with the Fauna Masters, they are so mana intensive. Could be a lot. Plus, by doing it this way, I can get one of the indecisive units out of the offer and make it less likely Volcare adds to his army. I will play Tranquility to heal this one and just give me 6 more cards. Probably going to pick up at least 1 wound anyway. I don't want a hand of wounds. Not very helpful. I'm going to draw 6 more cards. We have Rage, Promise, March, Termination, Will Focus, and Swiftness. That's actually not a bad hand. Volcare's turn. It's a wound. He's rolling the die. It's white. So, of course, I took the red one out. Volcare got the white, so he did add to his Legion, but he is now capped out. He will only have the 8 tokens that are on him. He added 2 keep tokens over the course of the game. Again, we do not see his Legion until we attend a fight against him. This is not like a city where you're adjacent. If you were adjacent to Volcare's camp, it would behave like a city and be able to see his Legion because, you know, there's lights on, but there's no lights in this Legion. They just walk in the dark. They're very, very shady like that. My turn. I could use Will Focus to get some more influence, and I just don't think it's worth it. The Fauna Masters are great. Going in at a +4, this would give me 11. I actually really like this hand. If I leave the city and Volcare pulls a non-wound, he will knock down the city walls and then I'll lose my extra card draw. I would love the Horn of Wrath. Ambush card's interesting, but I think I drop these 3. I also haven't seen Firestorm. We got some strong cards I really need to get on my deck. So on my turn, I'm dropping these 3 and I'm going to pull 3 more. So it's a rest turn, Crystal Joy, Rage, a wound. Not the cards of dreams. I still have some very strong cards. So what's going on with Volcare? It is a wound, so he's going nice and slow. I actually don't need to roll this die anymore, except for when I'm attacking, so I just won't. He doesn't move. My turn. I'm going to play Crystal Joy. I'm going to power it with a blue from the source. I'm going to take a white. And then my turn, I'm going to discard a wound to put Crystal Joy back in my hand. Draw 1 more card. It's Temporal Portal. That's not great. Roll that. It's white. Is it on? No. Volcare again gets his pile of wounds coming to the top, which is fine. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to use flight to move out. Not that you actually have to do this. I could just move up to 2. What temporal portal is, I don't even have to move. So I'm not even going to use flight. The temporal portal is very clear. Like whether you move or not, your hand is +1. So for the action for my turn, I'm going to use temporal portal. Don't have a blue, but I can definitely get some more crystals here. So I'm going to power Crystal Joy with a white, get a white crystal. I'm not going to take it back into my hand because the source isn't really doing much for me. I'm going to play Temporal Portal. My hand limit's 1 higher the next time I draw a card. It's going to draw up to 6 +2 because of the city, +1 because of Temporal Portal. I roll that. It's blue. These both go away. And now 3 more cards to my hand. Oof. Peaceful Moment. Horn of Wrath. That's one of the cards I was looking for. And Threaten. So Firestorm is still buried in my deck. But at least we got the Horn of Wrath. Volcare's turn. Oh, another wound. He doesn't move. Who's surprised? Well, this is pretty nuts. I'm going to play Peaceful Moment. So I'm going to use this skill. I'm going to get a blue crystal and a white mana. So that's influence 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need 3 more to get to the Final Masters. Threaten, and I'll just power threaten with this red crystal. I have mana draw, which I'll be able to use to get 2 red mana when I'm actually fighting Volcare. So that's influence 1 billion, reputation -1 end of the turn, but I did get myself the Final Masters. And when activating this unit, you may use multiple different abilities against the same or different targets. Target enemy does not attack. Target enemy is destroyed or blocked. Armor of target enemy is reduced by 5, or target enemy loses all fortifications and resistances. That can be really, really sick. So I knew Volcare was going to be delayed, but I just expected him to be delayed a lot last round, and he just has all his delays this round. I only draw 1 card, even though I used 2, because remember I had the temporal portal in effect, and we now get a wound. So that's wonderful. So I still think I have 3 wounds in here, maybe only 2. It's not totally surprising that I just pulled one there. Volcare. Hey, Volcare is actually going. So Volcare is entering the city. I am absolutely attending. We are going to have to roll this white. It is now blue. Volcare's Legion is revealed. Dun, dun, dun. Now remember, when you're fighting Volcare is actually outside the city, none of his units get the benefit of what's in the city. The thing is, you want to make sure the city does not lose its walls, because that would mean that you lose your +2 card draw. And when I say the fighting is happening outside the city, that's what's happening thematically. So we have some stormtroops. They are elusive. They are 6 to defeat in the range or siege attack phase. If you block the 5, they are only 3 to defeat in the melee phase. We have the Utham Guardsmen. They have unit fortifications. They attack 3. We have the other catapults. We have some diggers. We have some Amhotep gunners. The other Utham Guardsmen, they are also fortified. So lots of fortified dudes here. We have the Fire Dragon, and then we have the Ice Dragon. Ice Dragon is super nasty. They are ice resistant and fire resistant. Really wish I had my Firestorm. Volcare is also attacking us. We roll that die. It is black, so it's attacking with 3 with Brutal. It has Assassin and Paralyze. That's a really unfortunate roll there, because now I do have to block Volcare instead of just taking those 3 points of damage. Really don't like that roll at all. Physical siege attacks. This is not going to work against either of those dragons. Really unfortunate. Nothing has arcane immunity except for Volcare. So the Final Master's abilities will all work pretty well. Mana draw, I might actually use it just to use 2 different dice so I can really trigger a bunch of the Final Master's abilities. Remember, I have Will Focus, which is probably best used with Swiftness, because that would be a ranged attack 6. I could get up to a ranged attack 8 if I'm also using Crossbowman. And then we have siege attack thing as well. Let's figure out what I'm defeating. Will Focus with Swiftness kills the Amhotep gunners, which is really sick, but that works out extremely well. Horn of Wrath would not be efficient in helping me against either of these dudes because of the physical resistance. As far as wounds go, there's not a whole lot that's terrible here. I mean, that's 2 wounds, 1 wound, 1 wound, 2 wounds from the catapults. Remember the cumbersome, so we could reduce that. The diggers are 1 wound. Paralyzed from the Ice Dragon's pretty bad. The Fire Dragon is giving me 3 wounds, so that's obviously bad. And it's only 2 wounds from the Ice Dragon, but again, it's the Paralyze. The 6 points of damage, however, I could just disband somebody. Remember, the Final Masters does have fire resistance, ice resistance, and physical resistance. Target enemy is destroyed if blocked is really interesting. It will not work against Volcare because of his arcane immunity. Maybe the Ultimate Guardian's ability to block 8 is going to be better than his attack 5. Let me do this. If I use the Ultimate Guardians to block 8 against the Ice Dragon, and I power target enemies, destroy it blocked with the Defana Masters. Remember, I can use the rest of her abilities against other enemies, so that doesn't mean I'm done with her. And then I can power determination. I'll figure out what I'm going to use from the source later because I still have this mana draw hanging out there. So I did block 13 against the Ice Dragon. That is enough to block the ice attack 6. And then since it's a successful block, it's going to be absolutely destroyed. Now remember, the Ice Dragon would be immune to the blue effect of the Defana Masters, but not the red effect, because it has ice resistance and not fire resistance. Those wounds are not an issue, and I don't have to worry about paralyzed. Ooh, target enemy lose all resistances. Yippers. Yeah, that will work. So we're going to do Defana Masters, power it with one of the white crystals I have. Target enemy loses all fortifications and resistances. So I'm going to make the Fire Dragon lose all fortifications and resistances. And then I'm going to use a Siege Attack 10 to defeat the Fire Dragon and the diggers. The siege attacks, so the unit fortifications of the diggers don't matter. So I'm going to use the stronger effects on breaking the Horn of Wrath. Still have this attack, which I haven't used yet. So I'm going to add up to 5 to the siege attack for each +1 I add. I roll a mana die. I get 1 wound for each black or red roll. So I'm rolling this die 5 times. Not a black or a red. That's 1, 2. So that's my first wound. Not black. That was blue. That's also blue and white. So we get 1 wound for siege attack 10. Decent trade-off. So that's 1 wound added to my hand this turn. If I add 5 more, I get knocked out. But I defeated both of these guys. Defana Masters are so sick. I'm going to use the Uthran Crossbowman's block 3 to block Volkare, just so I don't have to deal with that. He's taken care of. He had the 3 damage with Brutal and Assassin and Paralyze, which was super bad. That's all I got in the range for siege attack phase. In the assigning damage phase, I'm going to take this 7 points of damage and assign it to the Ultim Guardians. And these guardsmen with their 7 health is ridiculous. I'm going to actually use another ability to Defana Masters. I'm going to use my first die from the source to say target enemy does not attack. The shock troops are not attacking. Those 2 wounds go away. Then I'm going to assign one of these 3 points of damage to the Defana Masters. Again, she's physically resistant, so that wound goes away. And then I'll assign these last 3 points of damage to each other Utham Guardsman to the Utham Crossbowman. These are the ones who survived. I'm going to take these tokens off because they're just getting in the way. So I have 4 survived, 4 that were defeated. Don't think I'm actually even going to use mana draw this turn, but I will play 1 rage to get me attack 2 in the melee phase, and then use this, and that's going to be enough to defeat the catapults. I'm just left with the 3 keep enemies, a rage in my hand, and a mana draw, which could come in huge. This comes back. Since Volcare lost at least a number of enemies equal to the number of players, he does back up 1 with his little legion, which will just go back on his little card. That's right. I'm calling everything about you little Volcare because I just wiped out 5 of your suckers. What are you going to do about it? Horn of Wrath is broken, so that's out. We get 7, 11, plus 8, 19, 20, 21, and 8, 29 fame for these 5 enemies. So count that again, 16, 20, 29. That's right, math, strong suit. So we go from 56 up to 65, plus 20 more gets me to 85. I did 2 level ups, so that's going to get me to 87. I'm going to get another one of these suckers, so my hand limit is now 7, and I'm going to get a level up there, so I get to look at 2 more skills. Let me clean up my play area first. This gets re-rolled. This is the only die from the source I used. That is now red. Defana Master used, but I can still assign damage to them. I am going to look at my next 2 skills. Motivation is probably silly. I don't think motivation's gonna matter. That's gonna be a lot of attack. I mean, that's 17 points of attack if I block that dude. I might not have it, which is crazy. If I take magic talent, tremor, that saves me 6 points of attack, but I have to have a card to discard to make that work, which I don't know if I do. That's an interesting idea, Greg, but a failure of epic proportions. I'll take motivation just to make sure I get everything in my hand, and I'll get a green mana. I need to get explosive bolt, so taking one of Arethia's skills won't work. I'll take explosive bolt. I'm going to now draw to my hand limit, which is 8. So I did get fireball. We have swiftness and explosive bolt. I think I'll barely have enough to make this work. I think we're good. It is now my turn. All that happens on my turn is that flips up. Volcare goes. It is the blue spell. So dude's going to move twice. Bam. Hey, I feel like we've just been here. I am attending. Flip this back down. Give me these 3 suckers. We're rolling this die. What is it? It is white. So that is brutal with swiftness. That's a lot better. So that's going to come in with 6 points of damage if I don't block it. So that's 2 wounds. This is 1 wound. I'm going to be able to assign one onto the Fana Masters, but I'll just put a wound out anyway for thoroughness. And then we have the shock troops. I could take all those wounds and they don't knock me out. But I am going to want to play the stronger effective fireball. So hold your freaking horses, Greg. Oh, let me do this too. Motivation, draw that, get a green mana. Not going to be all that helpful, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to play mana draw. I'm going to power it with a white. I can take a die. This does not count as using my die for this turn. I'm going to make that red. I'm going to get 2 red mana. That's blue, Greg. This is red. I'm going to power fireball. For using the die in the source's turn, I'm going to use the black. That is siege fire attack 8. That is also going to be a wound. I have this red for rage, and then I'm going to play explosive bolt for range attack 3. That's how I'm going to power everything. I also have this. So in the range or siege attack phase, these dudes are fortified. This dude is not. Oosh. Fortifications is really messing me up. No way I'm getting block 5. So if I don't use this white for that, and I just get myself the ability to use 2 dice from the source, I can use this red, this, and those would be my 2 dice from the source with how I use mana draw. And then still would have this white that I had used for mana draw to power swiftness. This range plus siege attack 6. I think I'm 1 point of damage shy. Yeah, I think I'm going to be 1 point of damage shy. I didn't have the green to use the Fana Master's other ability last turn to save me 5 points of attack. Probably should have taken Long Night. I had to take 1. Because I can't block the shock troops, it's going to take 6 damage to defeat them, plus the 7, plus the 7. So again, the indecisive unit at the end is really what screwed me here. That's a total of 20 points of attack. I can only get 20 points of attack if somehow I can get either 3 reds, a white, and a black, or 2 reds, 2 whites, and a black. As it is, I can get really close, but I am still going to be 1 shy. So I'll show you how I'm getting close. If I don't block anything, I can take these 2 wounds and this wound, so I can take 4 more wounds. This would be assigned to the Fana Masters. So I took 6 wounds to my hand, and I am not knocked out, but obviously all I have is wounds right now. Then in the melee phase, I can do the Fireball Siege Attack 8. And again, I already took that wound just to make sure my math was right. And I have Explosive Bolt and Swiftness. It's an attack of 14. I forget Siege range. Again, we're in the melee phase. That kills both of these dudes. Because of Explosive Bolt, for each enemy defeated by this attack, another enemy gets armor -1 to a minimum of 1. So I can reduce the shock troops armor from a 6 to a 4. I have rage and this ability. I've already used mana draw, so that gives me attack 3. I need attack 4, and I have a handful of wounds. Wow. That was a bad draw of keep enemies. I mean, that's 16 armor. If you look at the rest of these keep tokens, that's 20 armor among the 3. I mean, the rest of these keep tokens, 5 armor, 4 armor. This was physical resistance. Wouldn't have been a problem with fireball. 4 armor, 5 armor, 4 armor. I mean, the only higher echo is getting all 3 of those for 21 points of damage. I am going to be 1 point shy. There is nothing I can do about it. The 6th fame, I can't even get to a level up, which means that I'm just toast. I mean, even the way the source was when I was kind of spamming Crystal Joy at the end of the last round, I was just only able to get whites, and obviously all the whites came in handy. But yeah, just used every single crystal. Explosive Bolt was a red card. It effectively ended up being an attack 5 because I was able to reduce that armor by 2. Magic Talent would have definitely been the right call if I had a green card that I could have powered it with. Remember, you have to discard a card of any color to play a spell card of the same color than the spell offer. So I knew I didn't have a green card that I would be able to trigger Tremor. I don't think I played this any different. Really efficient in how I used my armor. I just think these indecisive units has ended up being too much and made it too hard. But it is legendary after all. Legendary is a super big challenge. Could not bring it home. I mean, I basically used every attack card in my deck against Volcare's army in this last round and still ended up 1 short I will have to play this off camera, but this was super fun. Glad to get a return Blitz on the channel after all. It had been way too long. It was like, why will you not play me? But we'll get this in a live playthrough, probably come back and try it again. I definitely like return Blitz almost a little bit more than return. I just think there's a little bit more predictability because you have a smaller map and you're not trying to play this positioning game the whole time and hoping that you kind of get lucky with how the cards in Volcare's deck come out. It's been a long time since I was literally 1 point of damage away. I mean, for those who don't know, who are curious, basically Volcare would have backed up on my turn. I would have just been able to flip this over. I would not have gotten any rewards. I mean, the 6 fame doesn't do anything for me. This dude still lives. Volkare flips over a card. It's a wound. He doesn't roll. And my turn, I have nothing but wounds. Although Rage is still in my hand. So on my turn, I have to play my 1 card. I don't have a choice. Man, this is where like some other skills I didn't see, like this Goldyx skill where you turn a card sideways and use a mana can be really strong. But again, I was short on mana, but it could have given me a lot more flexibility because all of a sudden any card could be an attack 4. Since I have to play a card, I would basically just be resting and discard any number of wounds. Volcare's turn, he moves closer to the city. My turn, I have to declare end of round because I have no cards. And that is super sad. Since it's end of round, I have not defeated Volkare. He survives, but so does the city, oddly. So we'll call it a draw, Volcare, but no, I lost and it's really sad. So I'll do this off camera. We will definitely get this in the rotation. It's a fun way to experience Mage Knight. As you know, pretty much every way of experience Mage Knight is a fun way to experience Mage Knight. There's a rare game that you can play so many different ways and be like, wow, there's just more and more reasons to love just the challenges this game presents. It's very, very cool. So thank you for joining me today. If you want to see what's coming up next in Solo Playthroughs Land, there is a link to my Patreon page in the description of this video below. Once you're there, you will find a schedule that I post every month with the schedule for the month that we're in, plus a preview for the month to come. While you're there, if there's a tier of support that makes sense for you, please do consider that. That would be really helpful as I continue to grow this channel and spend so much time and energy in learning new games, getting the videos together, editing. All of it is a lot. And I love doing it, but definitely the more support I can get on Patreon, the easier that all is to justify for sure. Likes, comments, epiphanies, please put them all in the comment section below. I will get back to you as soon as I can, like I always do. And until next time, happy gaming.